Welcome to TV Free Baltimore's Books and Authors.
How many books have you written?
6 books altogether, one of them being a revised edition, so I don't know, I count that as a separate one.
Okay.
But 6 books covering pretty much different aspects of popular culture and entertainment.
Well, for example, what are the books
Well,
about, or the titles of the books?
They range from Best of the Britcoms, which is a celebration of British situation comedies that have aired in the U.S., to an oral history of Beatlemania called We're Going to See the Beatles, biography of comedian Ed Wynn, and my most recent one being called For the First Time on Television, which is a history of all of television's firsts. From first sitcom to first news bulletin, you name it.
That's terrific. What compelled you to write about this topic area?
I just write books about the topics that I'm interested in personally. So otherwise, I don't think I'd be able to get through all of the research and all the other work it would take. If someone had suggested a topic for me, I would really have to be interested in it myself before I devote all of that energy into writing a book about it.
You do all your own research?
Yes, I do, and I actually enjoy it. A lot of authors, I think, consider it a drudge, but I enjoy the research.
Now, do you self-publish or do you have a publisher?
I've had different publishers, depending on which book it is. And most recently, it's been Bear Manor Media, which specializes in biographies of older Hollywood celebrities and other topics related to films and television.
Any success in sales or
Some, yeah, well, I like to think so. I think Best of the Britcoms was very good because at the time I wrote it and published it, there wasn't an easy way to find out about British sitcoms, and I knew there were a lot of fans, and I knew it was a popular topic, but they just had no way of learning more about the programs themselves. So I took it upon myself to do the research and make a lot of overseas phone calls to the BBC and other people, and so that's how that came
I
about.
was going to say, unless you'd gone over to London, it'd be hard to do
Yeah, no,
research.
I wish my budget allowed for that, but I had to do everything via faxes back when faxes were
Right.
the way to do things, and phone calls and
Right, and you did write the book on Ed Wynn. We've talked about that a little bit, but
yeah.
what moved you to pick him out of all the
Well,
entertainers?
it's funny. I didn't really set out to write a biography of him. I started to research a book that I was hoping would be a more comprehensive history of comedy in America going throughout the 20th century. But I kept seeing his name appear, whether I was reading about vaudeville or radio or TV or film. And I thought, I was vaguely aware of who he was, but I didn't know much about him. And this sort of spurred me to find out more about who he was, because he obviously had a long and successful career. So that led me into concentrating my research onto just him. I found out along the way that the history of his career really is the history of show business for the first half of the 20th century,
Exactly.
because he had his hand in everything
Exactly.
and was successful in everything. So I'm satisfied with the results.
Was that one of your favorite projects, or which one's the dearest and nearest to your heart?
Oh, that's hard to say.
They're all are?
Well, pretty much, yeah, because I'm a lifelong Beatles fan, so I enjoyed interviewing people who were teenagers at the time of Beatlemania. That was a thrill. The Britcom book was because I was such a fan of Britcoms anyway, and you had hundreds of hours of Britcoms on videotape, and I thought, well, maybe I can do something constructive with all of this, and that's how that sort of came about. So
Did you have a favorite Britcom that you could pick?
I have a few. I don't know if most of them aren't very well known here.
Oh, really? So
They were on
broadcasters?
they were on PBS stations, but they were scattered around the country. So it wasn't as if some of them had a mass exposure. Something like Fawlty Towers, most people know. But there are other shows like Allo Allo, which is my personal favorite.
I love that show.
And the British Empire is another one, which I rank those two programs above Fawlty Towers, and not many people do that.
Now, is there anything that you're currently working on?
Not as we speak, because I just finished a book that was published only a few months ago, so I'm taking a little breather.
Okay.
And but my mind's always working, and I'm always thinking through ideas of what might make a good book and maybe
Right.
what might not make a good book.
Now, do you make a living at this?
That's what I do.
That is
Yeah,
what you
It's,
do.
I wouldn't recommend it for everybody if that's what they want to do for a living, but
Right.
it's sort of my passion. So
Right. And do you do this like convention circuit or?
this is only my second at the Mid-Atlantic Nostalgia Convention, and
what other places do you do?
I've been to the Beatle Fest back when my Beatles book was new.
right.
That's up in North Jersey, and but I'm still pretty much a rookie at this sort of thing. So.
All right. And now, do you have contact information or website if people are interested in you or your publication?
Right. I have a website. It's GarryBerman.com, 2 R's in Gary. And my books are also available on Amazon.com. And I'm on Facebook, so I'm not too hard to find if anybody who needs to find me.
You're watching Books and Authors on TV Free Baltimore.